So first examine one's mind and then try to cut through the past, present, future thoughts, not to conceptualize, and then give rise to devotion, faith and inclination, and then with that pure intention then carry through the prayer chantings. So in this way that one's consciousness and body, speech, mind being completely attracted by the Guru, and with that the devotion and concentrated mind, then one carry through the prayers. So with one body, speech, mind and consciousness having given rise to the devotion and then the attraction towards the object of refuge, and then the pure perception, in that way to do the prayer is important. So the devotion or the faith, if best is if one could arise naturally, but otherwise one just have to train to give rise to it. So all the past, present, future Buddhas and such as like Guru Pamasambhava and so forth, that constantly just caring for all the sentient beings like one son for a single mother. For example, that somewhere in a water or a pond, if there is no any fish, how much we try to work hard to put the net, of course we cannot get any. So similar like that, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas with their great kindness and compassion, constantly looking and caring for all sentient beings. But if we don't have that the devotion or faith of the attraction or desire and irreversible faith, then one cannot really just get that benefit or the blessing. So we all sentient beings somehow that giving rise to desire like a blood of ocean, and then the hatred, the afflictive emotion like a so strong and hard like a mountains, and then the ignorance like a completely darkness, and then the jealousy like a very concrete solid rocks and so forth. And in this way, with all this afflictive emotion, we all are just in deep down into the muds of the samsara. So as we are drowned in the like oceans of the afflictive emotion, and through that as all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they are constantly caring for us and looking for us with their great compassion. And the moment we could give rise to devotion and faith and do that prayer, then there is the possibility we could be just liberated out of that on a dry, nice place. So one should examine whether oneself is really drowned in the just muds of the afflictive emotion or not. So that is why when one just really find it out, then the someone who can just really liberate us out of that mud is the Buddha Dharma Sangha and Guru Padma Sambhava, that who is completely reliable, and other than that we cannot find any other objects of refuge. And also within this world there are many powerful gods and powerful ghosts or spirits that who think they are very powerful, but still somehow they were also completely drawn into the samsaric afflictive emotions that which they could not be liberate. Even they think they are very powerful and have all sorts of strength. So that is why to be completely liberated from the suffering of samsara and from these afflictive emotions, then the only reliable object is the Buddha Dharma Sangha and then the Guru, that how one can really get all those benefits. So even though Shakyamuni Buddha has taught the Dharma teaching in 9 levels or the 9 yanas, and then according to those Dharma as we apply into practice, in generally other yanas as like a sutra that which may take like 3 countless eon lifetimes to attain enlightenment. And then also in the outer tantra that even one entered into the tantric practices, but still it may take like 16 lifetimes or 8 lifetimes. So this present practice of Dharma, what we are doing, which is known as the Tsokpa, the great perfection, and as one could apply into practice exactly according to the teaching and instruction, then there is the possibility one can be liberated or attain enlightenment within 3 years or 6 years or 9 years, and even worse to worse, within one lifetime, that one could be liberated. So in this way, this Dharma is very special and also very profound teachings. So even just to meet with all these precious Dharma, that also has to depend upon one's own excellent karma and a great deal of accumulations of merit. and otherwise it is even just difficult to meet with such an opportunity. And so that also one just must have to apply into practice. Just keeping it there, just thinking it is something great, that one cannot get the actual benefit. So, for example, like if we are hungry, then of course we need to eat the food. Just only looking at the food or having food, it doesn't really help. And if we feel cold, then we must have to put the cloth on. Otherwise, just having the cloth, we cannot just get the protection. So, of course, the Dharma teachings in the beginning, something which one doesn't know, one must have to understand and just have to learn. And then just learning and understanding is not enough. One must have to really apply into practice, with the great deal of effort. And the practice also, just merely doing a kind of practice doesn't really help. One should to pay full attention and very sincerely, devotedly. If one do the practice, then one can gain the benefit. So somehow we all, that our minds, constantly arising all these kind of afflictive emotions and conceptual thoughts, and then even try to do kind of dharma, maybe it is very difficult to really have any kind of accomplishment. And moreover, if one just have so much kind of doubt, just thinking, oh, these teachings are really true or not, and in that way, if one spend time, then there is no any benefit. Till now, just we are wandering in the samsara, that having all those kind of afflictive emotions and all those doubts, and that we could not be liberated. So that is why one must develop or give rise to the devotion, inclination, and sense of sincerity, or in form of respect, and then having that single-pointed mind. Then, if one engage into practice, then one can get the benefit. We sentient beings of our element, somehow there are so many negative or afflictive emotions. So because as we do some practice in relation with the deities, or just doing some prostration and also circumambulating, and then when something just happens, and then one thing, or all sorts of kind of bad things are happening. So that, somehow one could not see one's own fault, and then on the other hand, the best is one have to develop one's belief in the triple gem. So that because of one's own kind of beginningless lifetimes obscuration and karma, that we could not just really see or experience the deities, but otherwise, as I explained before, that all these triple gem and deities are always there the moment we start the supplication prayers. So with a sincere belief, and if we supplicate to the triple gem, of course one could have a positive result. It has been said in the text that if one wish, it is possible within a week time one can attain enlightenment. It is in a way that one's mind being not disturbed by any other conceptual thoughts, and having a single pointed mind with the devotion, faith and inclination, and if one just carry through practice days and night, it is possible that one could have such kind of result. But somehow, of course, we could not just abide even for one moment without any thought, just how much all these emotional and conceptual thoughts are just, constantly arising. So anyhow, that if we develop the devotion, inclination, and then the faith, and also that having that belief to the triple gem, and as one do all this supplication prayer, of course one can just purify and purify the obscuration and become less, and then one could have that result and receive the blessing.
No,
so of course I'm just repeating many of these teachings. Maybe it may hurt your ear, but it is just important that you have to examine your mind again and again. It is very important to really examine one's mind or the thought. If one just analyze or examine all these afflictive emotion and conceptual thoughts whatsoever it is arising, then there is the possibility it will just kind of get pacified. So if we don't examine or if we don't watch our mind or the thought, then of course we give rise to all sorts of different kind of conceptual thought, and it just wanders in that way.
Okay, thank you.
So anyway, thank you that you all with the single pointed devotion and faith inclination, then we receive these 4 empowerments. So then all the Talung students just stay and rest. You all can go back to your places to continue with your practice.
Okay, thank you. Oh, yeah.